Hello everyone. As has been the case every Saturday for a while, we take another dive into the mysterious world of the Forgotten Languages website, exploring its ties with UFOs. Today's topics include man-made probes and orbs and the modus operandi of possible alien visitors. But before that, I would appreciate a lot if you could like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share the video. This way we can spread the awareness of the UFO phenomenon, its reality, and our interaction with non-human intelligence as we draw near the actual disclosure. Thank you. We have entered the year 2015, and the first of today's articles is titled "Do Orbs Behave as SRPs? Self-Replicating Probes and Fractal Trajectories?" and it was published on the 19th of January. First, a few words about orbs. Orbs of light, sometimes bright and white and sometimes of color, are one of the most frequently observed types of UFOs or UAPs. Many experiencers, especially those attempting C5 or human-initiated contact with alien beings, have reported these objects to be aware and interacting with people. Let us see if the title is purely technical as it seems, or is it tied into the experiences too in the contents of the article.
Simulations consistently show the orb phenomena behave as self-replicating probes. More specifically, the sightings of orbs ejecting orbs and orbs coalescing into a single orb match the expected behavior for a self-replicating probe.
Next, we have the reference to what is dubbed SRP or self-replicating probes, a spacecraft type, with the reference dating back to 1980. It touches upon the idea commonly known as von Neumann's probes, namely objects which can operate independently and replicate or create copies of themselves. The English paragraph says exactly this.
Freitas outlines the specifics of a SRP, estimating the mass of each component of the spacecraft and the material the spacecraft would need to accumulate to be able to produce a copy of itself and provide fuel. They suggest that a spacecraft may capture comets and use atmospheric mining to acquire these materials. They state that in their minds there is little doubt that such a machine can, in theory, be designed.
Another part of the text suggests, possibly at least, that not just an alien civilization, but also possibly humanity has the capacity of producing such objects in the future, as there are already alleged simulations being run as we hear.
Computational power has increased sufficiently to allow the creation of detailed simulations of probes exploring a sector of the Milky Way.
The article also includes pictures of what seems to be orb-type UAPs forming various configurations, and at least some of which have been seen in real life. We know that there have been sightings of dancing orbs, orbs creating formations and coalescing into bigger objects as we can see here. I am wondering if there could be any reverse engineering projects aimed at creating such objects. The topic of possible man-made objects operating like UFOs and at actually long distances was further explored in another article dated to the 7th of February 2015. This time we read the following title: Self-Repairing Systems – Lessons Learned from the Second Interstellar Mission to Alpha Centauri. Well, the proverbial cat may be out of the bag here. Have we secretly initiated not only interplanetary missions, but actual interstellar ones? Let's read and analyze the English parts of the text.
The spacecraft decelerated at the Proxima system and deployed the flyby probe to Sen A, B. Despite submicron-sized dust particles heavily eroded exposed surfaces of the MMW proximity radar. The same relativistic effects that make detection easier or more difficult, depending on the direction of travel, affect the communication between a ship and its planet of origin. An outgoing ship sends and receives data at a smaller rate. A chain of small decode and resend repeaters moving at intermediate speeds would provide a ladder of frames for which good communication is restored.
We also see an image depicting such potential probes, allegedly sent to the nearest star system, that of Alpha, Beta and Proxima Centauri, the three nearest stellar neighbors of the Earth. I assume that the MIL-SEN acronym could be understood as military and Centauri possibly. There also seems to be an image of a proximity probe, which I would guess could operate as a deployable system, once the main probe reaches the actual proximity of the target stellar or planetary system. Such endeavor would be extremely complicated though, as the last paragraph considers the difficulty of the involved logistics.
If a spacecraft of limited acceleration is the only means of travel available, a coaster could maximize their final co-moving distance by accelerating up to Ca 26 years, or Ca 23 years for a lower bound. There is a preferred duration for which the Rocketeer should accelerate to maximize the distance that she covers while minimizing the amount of proper time spent traveling.
This was a short article, but the topic of aliens interacting with the Earth returns in an article posted 10 days later, on the 17th of February, titled Other Enemies, Gizelian Sol 3 and the End of the Untouched Oasis. My first thoughts navigate to scenarios similar to those presented in the Three-Body Problem trilogy, or known as the Dark Forest theory, according to which a civilization is safe as long as it is silent to outside observers, and once observed by a more powerful civilization, it is a subject to a potential threat. Let us see if this is actually what the article talks about.
Fighting against a virus is fighting a biological enemy. Fighting against the Russians, the Chinese, or the terrorists is fighting a cultural enemy. But fighting against the Gizelians is fighting both of them, with the difference we know nothing about their culture or civilization, nor about their biology.
We have heard that before. Incompatible biologies pose a risk to both any potential alien visitors as much as they do to humanity. There is no telling how our bodies would react to a potential contact. Next, we peek into the theoretical considerations of alien modus operandi.
A selection effect should make leading-edge invaders primarily value whatever it takes to stay at the leading edge. By now we know the descendants of these invaders who fall behind the leading edge retain their ancestors' preferences. These descendants focus on pursuing the invasion wave as quickly as possible, devastating whatever civilization they may encounter along their path, rather than staying behind to build stable, long-lasting civilizations.
This could possibly hint at the aggressive stance we have already mentioned in reference to the Dark Forest theory, and the last paragraph is an emphasis of the same ponderings, where we read the following.
You simply don't ask the Ebola virus why it behaves the way it does. You just fight it. Asking Gizelians why they do what they do is as stupid as asking the Ebola virus, why does it infect you?
It would indicate that the race of Gizelians is at least potentially hostile. Not because of hate towards humans, it seems, but rather because of their very nature. It could be the case that some alien civilizations are inherently expansionist and aggressive towards others encountered as they fan out through their stellar surroundings. So, what do you think of the topics discussed today, dear viewers? Do you think that we as humanity are capable of producing orb-like probes, and even use them in covert interstellar missions the public is told nothing about? Let me know in the comment section down below. I will be back with another video about the link between the Forgotten Languages website and UFOs next week as usual. Thank you for watching, take care.